Hey, it's Tuesday, the 27th of January, and it's 1:34 in the afternoon, and just more stuff I'm seeing and hearing on the news and radio and seeing on social media that just has me scratching my head. You can see I've been scratching it a lot. Anyway, just felt the need to comment on a couple of things to once again vent and get things off my chest. Uh, the stuff in Minnesota continues to fascinate. Um, Now, the Second Amendment is important to us. Isn't it funny how liberals have no principles at all and they just bounce from one thing to another? No consistency, no principles to base a future on. Just, hey, what's the breeze? Which way's the breeze blowing today? All right, well, let's do that. So now the Second Amendment is important and it is about government overreach and government tyranny. Cool. Glad you guys are finally on board. Of course, I guess you have to decide now what is and what is not government tyranny. For example, here in Virginia, we've got some new communist leaders. I continue to be amazed at just how stupid people are, but there you have it. And we see more and more bills coming out that are going to try to strip us of our gun rights. Well, let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Liberal, do you or do you not have a right to defend yourself? Now, be careful how you answer because we've seen what you've been saying coming out of Minnesota. So you have to decide if you're going to be consistent or not. When does your self-defense and your protection of your rights actually matter? And I ask that because if our new governor and our new attorney general and our new lieutenant governor, all of whom have shown now who they are, what happens when they decide, well, I know you haven't committed any crimes. I know you haven't robbed anybody. I know you haven't harmed anybody, but you simply possess, probably just keep them in your house, certain firearms that we don't think you should have. I know what the Second Amendment says. I know about rights, and I know about your right as a human being to defend yourself and protect yourself from people, from tyranny. What do we do now if they decide they want to come take our guns? Are we justified in responding with violence? Are we going to be justified in using those guns for their designed purpose, for using the Second Amendment for exactly what it was meant for? Yes or no? I mean, guys, this isn't that hard to figure out if you wish to remain consistent. So just let me know. I mean, we see what the bills are that are being introduced in Virginia. So at some point, if they get their way, they are going to come after our guns. Not that you've committed any crimes with them, but simply because you have one. Then what do? Are we supposed to just sit quietly back and allow our rights to be violated? Are we supposed to ignore tyranny if it's coming from your party? Or is tyranny only important when it's the other party? Is that how it works? I just need to know. I'm trying to get the rules straight so I know how to respond properly and I know how to be prepared. And certainly we want to keep the left happy. We want the media and the liberals in the country to be happy with us. We want to continue to be seen as decent human beings who should, in fact, have rights. So just let me know. Post it, my friends who are seeing this, please feel free to share this with any liberals you might know, because I'm curious to know what their answers are. Do we, as conservatives, libertarians, Republicans, whatever you want to call us, do we or do we not have the same rights that you do? Or do you, as liberals, as good liberals, do you have special rights? Do you have different and superior rights than the rest of us? Just let me know. I'm trying to figure it all out so I know how to deal with it. So that's one of the things that's going on in the news right now. Another thing that I think is absolutely fascinating, and you should be aware of it if you're not already, and I'll include it in the comments below this so you can see the video for yourself. I know, because if I don't show you the video, you're probably going to think, oh, Floyd's making that shit up. Nobody would really do that. Well, we saw the guy in Minnesota get smoked. He was a nurse. He was responsible for and charged with taking care of people when they are sick, sometimes even incapacitated. And we're supposed to trust our health, potentially our very future, on these insane assholes. And so there's another one from VCU, and I understand she's been placed on administrative leave. She should be fired. She should never be allowed to work in the healthcare industry again, ever, anywhere. But that's another story. Anyway, so right now, as I'm speaking to you, the last I heard was she's been suspended. Well, fuck that little cunt. Who the hell does she think she is? She wants to poison people, especially ICE agents. There are different ways we can poison them. We can use our knowledge and responsibilities in the healthcare industry to harm these people. Oh, we won't kill them. We'll just make them very uncomfortable. Is that someone you want taking care of you or one of your loved ones? Even if you do or do not share her politics, and apparently her politics are more important to her than taking care of people. Even if you don't share those politics, if she finds out that you don't think as she thinks, are you comfortable leaving yourself or someone you love in a hospital where she's in charge of taking care of you? Let me know. No, seriously, guys, share the comments. Is that someone you would feel comfortable? Liberals, let me ask you, let me put it in terms you might understand, you might be able to grasp. Suppose this nurse was of a conservative bent. Suppose she's a Republican. And like me, she absolutely despises liberals, hates them with a white hot passion. So much so that her first responsibility as a nurse, to do no harm, and that's what doctors are told as well, is out the window. She doesn't care about that because she hates you as a conservative so much that she's willing to put that aside in an effort to harm you and make sure that you, as a conservative, no longer have a voice, even up to not just making you sick, but even up to the point of possibly ending your time on this planet. Would you feel comfortable leaving your loved one under that person's care? I know I wouldn't. So I just want to see what you think. In the healthcare industry, whether it's a doctor's office, whether it's a hospital, when you go there because you're ill or injured and you need help, do you want to feel comfortable that the person taking care of you is actually going to try to help you rather than harm you? Help me out here. Tell me. I want to know. When is it okay and when is it not okay? See, now you've got nurses. You got the dumbass in Minnesota, and all of a sudden with him, the Second Amendment is important to liberals. Any other time, Second Amendment, we need to get rid of that. Piss on the Second Amendment. But one of their guys is carrying a gun. One of their guys gets shot, and all of a sudden, well, he had a right to carry a gun. He's got Second Amendment rights. Okay, well, so do I. Or do I not have them because I'm not a liberal Democrat? How does it work? Give me a look into your world. Let me know what the thought process is. Either we all, as American citizens, have a Second Amendment right, or we don't. And it's not just about the Second Amendment and guns. It's one of the most basic rights any human being has, the right to self-defense. Do you? Do I? Do any of us have the right to protect ourselves from those trying to do us harm? Come on, help me out. So I just want to hear from you. And if the person trying to do you harm is working with or for the government, does that negate your self-defense rights? Or does that only apply if you're a liberal Democrat and it does not apply to conservative Republicans or libertarians? Which is it? Help me out. Tell me what the rules are. Spell them out for me. Help any of the people on my page who see this video. Help us to understand. We do want to understand. We'd like to know what the rules are. We'd like to know how to proceed as we move forward. But when our new governor, communist cunt that she is, decides it's time to go take their guns, we're going to send the police in. Are we supposed to obey those police, Mr. and Mrs. Right Wing? The same police who were arresting people for attending church 4 or 5 long years ago. I know it's hard to remember that far back. But remember when the police were arresting people for gathering in groups because the tyranny-hating liberals decided you don't have a right to gather. You don't have a right to get together in a church. You don't have a right to go shopping in a mom and pop store. You know, the people who don't want kings. So what happens when the police now, following orders because they want to get their paycheck, decide, well, the governor said we got to go confiscate these guns. Yeah, I know the guy never committed a crime. I know he hasn't robbed any banks. I know he hasn't broken into any homes. But the governor said so, and we have to follow orders. Well, if it's okay when your guys do it, in this case with ICE, is it okay if we do it? Do you think there is not going to be any more gun violence based on your liberal policies? Do you think gun owners like myself are simply going to sit back and go, here, have my weapons? No, I haven't done anything illegal with them. Yes, I purchased them legally. I went through the background checks. I paid the fees. I did everything I was told I was supposed to do, in spite of the Second Amendment, which says nothing about needing the government's permission, which says nothing about having to have a fee that I pay for. I followed all the rules. But you think it's okay to come take away that right? Yeah, we don't have a right to the Second Amendment. Only your people do. And again, back to the nurses. If you go into a hospital, any kind of healthcare facility where you might have to stay for any length of time or be treated by somebody there, you better damn well know who they are and what they believe, or keep what you are and what you believe to yourself, because there's a chance you might not get out of there. These people have proven just how fucking insane they are. And I mean insane. These people, is there anything beyond having a screw loose? Because these people have got several screws loose. And then they're dumb enough to post it on social media. Hi, I'm Nurse So-and-so, and here's where I work, and I'm a fucking lunatic, insane liberal, and I think you should all die. Have a nice day. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with out there. So you better, those of you who care about liberty, those of you who care about your rights, you better wake the hell up, because there are people out there that will try to take them away from you. And I don't just mean Donald Trump and ICE. I mean, there are plenty of tyrants on the left, plenty of people on the left who think if you don't live the way I think you should live and you don't do what I think you should do, then I'm okay with you being arrested. I'm okay with your rights being taken away from you. Yeah, I know I said earlier, I said no kings, but that's just for you guys. The rest of us, kings are okay as long as they're doing what we want them to. This is the kind of people you're dealing with. You see, the problem you're having, Mr. and Mrs. America, is you look at this stuff and you think there's no way that person could be that stupid. There's no way they could be that evil. There's no way they think that what they're saying makes any sense. That's because you're thinking rationally, because you're thinking logically. There are people out there, I'd hate to be the one to break it to you, but there are people out there who do not think the same way you do. They don't look at things rationally. They just look at things and go, well, this is the way I think it should be because I am a superior human being and my way of doing things is far better than yours. So if I have to squash your rights and your liberties to get you to see things my way, then so be it. That's what I'll do. They don't care. When I worked in the supermarkets, when my family owned 3 supermarkets in south side of Richmond, I would catch people shoplifting pretty much several times a week. And people would be, you can understand if somebody who is hungry, some poor person, maybe some guy living on the street who has nothing and he's hungry. So he's stealing some lunch meat or a loaf of bread. You know, it is harmful as that may be to the business. You can understand that as a human being. They're hungry. But I would catch people stealing shit that you would just scratch and go, what in the hell is wrong with you? You're stealing something that you can't eat, that you can't possibly use. You're risking going to jail. And for what? What are you getting out of this? And I had to come to terms with the fact that, you know what, Floyd, your problem is you're applying your own thought to this. You're thinking to yourself, well, I would never do that. I would never steal Formula 409 spray cleaner. Why would I risk going to jail to steal that? But that's me thinking about myself and my life and my family and the effect it's going to have on me. You're dealing with people who don't think rationally. They don't think like you do. They don't apply logic. They just see something they want to do, something they want to take, and they do it. And consequences be damned. And of course, now we've got a fucking idiot attorney general in Virginia who thinks, well, so what if he steals something? He didn't, you've got insurance. Remember that from back in the 2020 when they were riding in the streets and going into stores and just loading up baskets and walking out with it. Well, don't worry about that store. They've got insurance. That person stealing all that food, they need the food. Don't give them a hard time. Don't come down on them because they were stealing something. That company has insurance. See, that's how they think. And now we've got that as the Attorney General of Virginia. Well, so what if he stole $1,000 worth of groceries? So what if he hurt that business? So what if prices are going to have to go up and other people are going to have to pay for that loss? Just let them go. Just so overlook it. So liberals, you got some thinking and some explaining to do so we can understand this. If gun violence is bad when Republicans, libertarians, or anyone else does it, why is it not bad when Democrats do it? Yeah, if your Democrat ilk have Second Amendment rights, How come nobody else has Second Amendment rights? Help me understand. And again, to my friends who are on my page who see this, please feel free to share this. If you know anybody who even remotely thinks a little to the left, yeah, this is my left, then share this with them, because I'd like to get some answers. I would like them to explain it to me so I can understand it. Anyway, that should do for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.